Good morning. Today is Monday, October the 29th, and this is microeconomics. We have an exam that opens on Thursday, but Friday the school is closed due to the University of Florida homecoming. So I'm going to extend the open window for the exam through next Wednesday, not Tuesday. Be advised. What's on your mind? Anybody? Anything going on? Shootings in Pittsburgh, pipe bombs around the country. Anything on the news?
Too much craziness.
Too much
It's
craziness.
sad.
Getting worse as time goes on.
Yeah.
Well, I get my news updates from another source. A Kentucky father is apologizing after wearing, come on now, a Nazi uniform and dressing his son as Adolf Hitler for Halloween.
People will just do crazy stuff. I mean, there's always going to be crazy people. It's inappropriate.
Well, he said he was a big supporter or very interested in historical figures. And certainly Adolf Hitler is an historical figure. Technically correct. But in context, is this someone you want to go around dressed as or have your child dressed as? What kind of message are you sending them?
It's sad and inappropriate. There's always going to be sad and inappropriate people in the world, though.
I agree, but I think we need to comment on them.
Yeah.
And I think we need to ostracize them and give some show that we don't think this is appropriate. In my terms, there are a lot of folks who have crawled out from under the rocks over the last couple of years. They used to keep to themselves and keep their opinions pretty much to themselves, and now they seem to think that they have a bigger voice.
I think the entertainment industry is
Well, Trump's giving the entertainment industry everything they need, but
is completely inappropriate. So.
But social ostracism does work. That's how we teach small children how to behave. Don't do that. Don't be like that, etc.
I don't understand why he brought the kid into. I mean, it's one thing to dress yourself up. It's something like that, isn't to represent you, but to shadow that on your child or someone
Well,
else's child.
It's inappropriate.
About the only thing I saw that he did on the kid was he gave him a little tiny mustache, and he might have combed his hair over. But the dad is dressed in an SS uniform with the Nazi swastika and everything. And I saw it earlier this morning, and I tend to comment on Facebook rather openly. And I thought, do we not teach American history very much anymore? Does American history not include a discussion about Adolf Hitler, fascism, death camps, concentration camps, gas chambers? Do we not teach that in high school anymore?
No, we do. It's taught.
Okay. Do we not teach common sense and good judgment in high school? Oh, wait a minute, that's called critical thinking, right? And Texas decided a couple of years ago they were going to eliminate that from the curriculum. So this is not simply poor taste. This is, to me, parental irresponsibility and ignorance. And it needs to be chastised and ostracized and brought to everybody's attention. And the parent apologized. He said he made a mistake. And bless him for that. But to have done that in the first place, what were you thinking of? That's kind of like Megyn Kelly, right? What happened to Megyn Kelly? Who is Megyn Kelly?
She's the morning show host that said that it was for a Halloween costume if someone colored their skin to match in with the Halloween costume, that as long as it's portraying the character of the Halloween costume, it would be considered still okay. And she got a lot of backlash and she lost her show over it and everything. On NPR, they ran a whole thing on it. I can tell you NPR was not happy with the answers that were coming back though, because on NPR, they got a lot of callers that said people are going out of control, politically correct. They need to get it in check because, and there were a lot of actually black immigrants that were calling in and said in our countries, you can paint yourself whatever color you want to paint yourself. People are taking it too far. They do not think she should have lost her job. It's a judgment call. You might not agree with her, but she shouldn't have lost her job. So they were surprised. They were kind of like, well, let's hear some other people because they wanted to hear some more leftward-leaning call-ins, and that's not what they were receiving, and they were kind of surprised.
Okay. In today's world, to paint yourself with blackface in any costume, to me,
It's considered inappropriate.
is contextually not simply inappropriate,
It's
not adroit,
historically,
out of touch.
yes, I would agree with
And
that.
for someone in her position of visibility, I think her level of responsibility is far greater.
She should have been much more neutral. However, I can say if you're black and you paint your face white, nobody sits there and stands up
I'm gonna
and
do that
says.
with mine, yeah.
So that's why I think they're just saying overall, like, was it, maybe she should have gone neutral, or was it inappropriate for her to say that?
No.
Yeah, in her position, probably so, but people are saying, oh my God, everybody's losing their job over everything. People just like chill out a little.
Hey, people aren't gonna chill out.
No, they're
That's
not.
not gonna happen for a while, not till we get some leadership around here that begins to draw us together instead of divide us. But, all right, what else you wanna talk about? More politics, more news, or anything?
Say like when people like have like the limelight or like the spotlight on them, like anything they say like gets critiqued. So it's like you kind of those people have to be like cognizant of that fact.
Well,
you know?
if they
Anything
are,
say-
if they are responsible people, they have
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
attuned. Too many of them are not responsible.
people take things out of context.
And she
or-
apologized, just to be clear, she did apologize.
Yeah, she did.
About that. She was like, oh my gosh. She was like, I've learned a lot from this, but I mean, that just like decimated somebody's career. And I just, wow.
Well, I look at sports heroes that way. And when I see a sports hero that so many children look up to, and then does something, you know, domestic abuse, I would lose their career right there. Boom, you're not coming back. My problem is sports heroes and bankers, we haven't put enough of them in jail.
They have been lately.
A few, not near enough. Anything else you want to talk about? I can tell you, having gone down to St. Petersburg this weekend and having a wonderful time, and thanks some of you for your advice on places to go. We stayed at a hotel in downtown St. Pete, parked the car, and never drove again for 4 days. We walked everywhere we went.
That's nice.
There was so much to do. I had some good advice from many of you on other places, and we're going back again, and we'll check those out. But it was amazing, right? If you've never been to the Salvador Dali, anybody know Salvador Dali? Surrealist artist, phenomenal. They've got a permanent museum down there with probably 60 pieces of his, and it's the kind of art you can look at, and if you step back 20 feet, it's a whole different picture. It's just amazing. And the life story of the fellow, we spent 6 hours in the Dali Museum, and it's probably the equivalent of about 15 of these rooms at the most. It's not that big. It's just amazing. But then the food, the music, all the shops, the boats in the marinas, we just had a wonderful time. And the weather was very kind.
Have you been to the Holocaust Museum?
We did not make it, but that's on our next trip.
It's so good.
Yeah. We didn't get into the Western Museum, James Western Museum. That's also on our list. We had a few of the others. So it was a very pleasant weekend. Anything else going on? Any questions about Mike? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, elections are coming up pretty soon, so, I mean, that's something that's pretty important.
Who's coming up?
Very important.
Elections.
Elections.
It's very important.
Huge early voting turnout. Huge. Good news for which party? We don't know. It just seems that there's a lot of people very interested.
I think just a lot more people in general paying attention than in the past.
Yeah.
Because I always vote, but there's, like,
Well, from what I'm hearing, young people are coming out in incredible numbers.
well, I was gonna say, they're driving that incredibly, and I hand it to them. I mean, Democratic Party, they are going to college campuses,
Mhm.
and they are driving that. So, I mean,
Yep.
that whoever drives that is gonna end up definitely,
Whoever gets the vote out. Yeah.
yeah.
And the Republicans are saying Trump is helping us and we're showing you how good the economy is and look where it was a few years ago. And if you want it to continue, you need to keep him in office and all of his Republican support. And the Democrats are saying everything is wrong and we always outnumber them if we show up.
I
And
think they're
the
trying
big
to
thing
be
is-
pretty compelling. I think both sides are trying to be pretty compelling.
They're
this
trying to
year.
do that. I'm watching the independents where I can get feedback on that. Because if the Democrats do show up, but the independents don't vote Democratic, they won't win it. The independents are going to decide the election. And who was it? I want to say it was Rick Scott and Andrew Gilliam. I'm not sure.
That what?
That the independents who were surveyed were 68 to 28 in favor of Gilliam.
Yeah. But I mean, especially he has
That was a
like
huge
an
split, though.
incredible, yeah, he has an incredible base locally. Alachua County, they said, is probably going to be a pretty big deciding factor for that,
If you look at Florida,
which is interesting.
that's Strickland's Florida, okay? No reason. Tallahassee and Gainesville are little blue dots in a predominantly red state down to at least here. Very, very liberal.
But and I was going to say, and his messaging, I think is polarizing to like
Gilliam's
a
message?
large,
He is an announced progressive. And what does that mean, progressive?
oh my God, he is
Means they're pretty far down on the left side,
clearly
okay?
too
And
much for me.
he's not,
Too much.
traditionally, everybody tries to go to the middle.
Yeah.
And Gilliam has come out and said, no, I'm down here, and here's why. And he's very articulate about it, which means he's very persuasive to the people that like the message, and he's very offensive to the people that don't like the message. But there's no waffling too much there in the
No,
middle.
there's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with him as a person, but
No,
that's just not what I know you're strong for him.
I'm very strong. Randy's a graduate of Gainesville High School.
I know, but that's not, for me, a voting factor.
No, but it
Has
does
to be
tell
on
me,
it.
I know where he grew up, and I know the sort of experiences he had that shaped him. and
There's
I
a
like
lot of
that.
experiences that can be had in Gainesville.
Well, I think for somebody that, and
It's a broad spectrum.
y'all may not know Gainesville that well. Gainesville High School is pretty centrally located, and it draws from neighborhoods all over the county. And so that, to me, it's different than going to Buchholz or Eastside or PK Young. It's a more diverse mix of students, and I think that informs a person's perspective, and I like that.
Oh, man. My siblings went to GHS.
All right. Anything else on the elections? Voting purge, right? Purging the voters off the rosters, any notes like that? Any pro-gun, anti-gun, any pro-healthcare, anti-healthcare? Sir?
Did you talk about the voting purge? I'm not 100% sure what that is.
To purge is to remove names from. They purge my rosters at this school at the beginning of the term, and if you haven't paid your dues, your tuition, they purge you and drop your name. It's to drop your name off. The Secretary of State in Georgia is one of the contenders for governor. He's running against an African-American woman, and he's being accused of having purged the rosters, because that's his job as a state attorney general, and having wiped off several thousand primarily African-American voters because their signatures didn't match or their addresses didn't match, et cetera. And there's a huge controversy up there about that. Also out in Texas, and I think also in Georgia, there's some controversy about voting machines possibly
Yeah.
changing the votes.
For
So-
straight line Democrat or straight line Republican,
so
and it
we'll
was
see.
completely swapping.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that is a problem.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. So don't vote a straight ticket. Change one, So that's what's going on there. Anything else? Then how about, just as a reminder, this coming Monday will be the 5th. On the 6th is Election Day, a week from tomorrow. The following Monday is the 12th of November, and that is a holiday for Veterans Day, which is really called Armistice Day and is really November the 11th. But on November the 12th, there will be no class. And the week of Thanksgiving, Monday and Wednesday, there will be no class. And trust me, once we get through this test, there's only a couple of chapters and some discussion left, so not having class, you won't get behind. Just stay up with the readings and the videos.
Wait a minute, November 12th, say the date.
November 12th, no class, so the week after that would be the 19th. So there'll be no class on the 19th and the 21st.
Okay, thank you.
And Thanksgiving is the 22nd. Okay? Now, is there anything you would like to chat about with regard to perfect competition and monopolistic competition? Or would you rather we just go somewhere and get a beer
Yeah.
No,
and then talk about it?
no.
Let me try something on you. What's your conclusion from that line?
It's perfect, or I mean, it's competitive, monopolistic competitive.
In the context of what we've done in this course, this appears to be, assuming it is a firm, it appears to be a monopolistic competitor because it doesn't have a horizontal, perfectly elastic demand curve. The marginal revenue curve falls halfway out there. What if I told you this firm and every firm out there has zero costs? Where is their cost curve?
Matching the price. There's zero cost.
Yeah. Think of it this way. If they produce 1 unit, what's their cost? What's their average cost? Zero. Okay, let me sign here. 1 unit, zero cost. If they produce 2 units, what's their cost? 2 units. Average cost, 0. Marginal cost, 0. Fixed cost, 0. Variable cost, 0. 3 units. Same thing. 4 units. 9,000 units. 0 cost. Where's their cost curve? It's the x-axis. It's the quantity axis. This line is their average total cost curve. And when it's horizontal, it's also their marginal cost curve. You see that?
Is that possible?
No, but this is a question that came up on a master's exam in economics one year.
Oh, okay.
And a number of students couldn't handle it, but once you see it, it's simple. Now, go ahead.
So alpha would be on the x-axis, right?
Perfect. Where is alpha? That was my next question. Marginal revenue equals marginal cost, right here. Okay so far? What price should this firm charge to maximize its profits? No. Maximize profits. What does alpha tell us? This is alpha. That tells us the quantity to produce. Okay, I want you to produce, I don't know, 4,112 units. Okay. How do I determine my price?
Is it where it's the demand?
Yes, the demand curve is also called the price line. It says, you want to sell this many? If you set this price, you'll sell that many. Bingo. You with me? We've been doing that in monopolistic competition, except when the marginal cost curve was up here, we went, oh, there, and up to the demand curve. Okay so far? Now, it doesn't look like it because I've drawn it wrong. If I drew this a little steeper, it'd be better. Look at that. We'll make that point up here. What can you tell me about that point?
That's your economic profit.
That's my maximum total profit. What can you tell me about that point with respect to elasticity?
It's very elastic.
Is it?
It's unitary.
This is the midpoint of the curve, where ED equals 1.0, where you have unitary elasticity. And it corresponds with when marginal revenue is how much?
1.
How much is my marginal revenue for this unit?
What's the number?
Everything is gonna be equal to your marginal.
Is that?
What is the marginal revenue of unit number 4,112?
Are you getting close?
It's equal to marginal cost, because that's point alpha. How much was marginal cost?
412.
Zero. Zero. At unitary elasticity, marginal revenue is zero. What's the marginal revenue of unit number 4,216? How would I read that? I go to this unit and I find the marginal revenue curve. Oh, it's down here. I go, oh, there it is. And then I read over here, and this number is a negative 22, whatever. I'd say, well, the marginal revenue of this one is negative at $22. Right so far? Now think about it. What would it mean if the marginal revenue were negative? It means when you sold that unit, you lost that much money. Negative marginal revenue. Would you ever do that? That's why you never operate when marginal revenue is negative, which means you never operate in the inelastic part of demand. You with me on that? Okay? When you get down in this range, down here, this is the inelastic range. That means what? Total revenue goes in the same direction as price. If you raise price, you bring in more revenue. It means that the coefficient of elasticity is always less than 1 in absolute value. All that sounded familiar? Yeah. And it also means that marginal revenue is less than 0. Okay so far?
No, this is all hypothetical, right?
No, this is real.
Well-
Anytime you're selling products out in this range, each one of them has a negative marginal revenue.
Right, but there is no such thing where there's no cost. There's always a cost of production.
I have a well out in the middle of the desert. I have no costs. You just pay me to come get the water. You have to load it, pump it, whatever. I have 0 costs. You buy that?
No.
To find a theoretical approximation, I would give you that model. It is common in business, however, to have a range of output over which your costs are constant, which gives us the same kind of conclusion. Suppose I
They're
have...
like established costs, so
Yeah.
you're just writing on the established cost of
And
it?
no, not established. If in my taxidermy business, every time I did one more deer head, it cost the same as the next deer head and the next deer head.
Because you've already paid off all the tools
I
and
paid
everything
all the
else.
fixed costs,
So
et cetera.
that's what I'm saying, so it's like an
Marginal means
established,
extra cost.
okay,
What did I have to do to produce that extra deer head?
right.
It took me 8 hours of labor and $100 in parts and materials. That's it. Everyone cost me the same until I get so busy that I start making mistakes and I hit that diseconomies of scale. So you've got a graph out there in one of your quizzes that looks like this.
Yeah.
Average total cost. So this has a wide range. I'm going to say from about here out to here that we call constant costs. Flat average cost, okay? Now, from that, can you draw the marginal cost curve for me? And what you got to go back and remember is what they looked like originally. You had average total cost and you had marginal cost.
So with the marginal
Well, I mean, I know how you have it drawn here.
Well, think about it this way. Listen carefully. When average cost is falling, marginal cost is below it. So over here, the marginal cost curve is going to be below it. Okay? When average cost is rising, marginal cost is above it. So when it starts rising up here, the marginal cost curve is above it. That's marginal cost, that's marginal cost. When it hits its lowest point, right here, what?
Break even.
They're the same curve. So the marginal cost curve falls to here, and then on this flat constant cost range, average total cost is the same as marginal cost. That's that constant cost area that a lot of particularly smaller businesses hit. You got a carpet cleaning service. Your crew usually does 3 carpets a day. What happens if they got to do 4? Well, you got to pay them for the extra labor. You got the extra, chemical costs or whatever. About the same as the last one. Constant costs. So don't let the flat curve throw you. It's still the same line of reasoning we've been using. But read it carefully. Because what if you saw that? Just that. And they said, over this range, this is a perfect competitor. True or false? False? True?
What's the question
False?
again?
They're not, because
True?
you're not competing
Do
necessarily.
you see a demand curve on this graph?
No,
I don't either.
not
False. But because it's flat, it's easy to think about, oh yeah, flat demand curves. No, no, no. Ain't no demand curve up here yet. You with me? Okay. So then if we draw a demand curve, where's the marginal revenue curve?
Marginal revenues.
Halfway out, right? Into negative numbers, right? Where's alpha?
It's where the marginal and the, yeah.
Can this company make a profit?
No, it's not making a profit.
What does alpha tell you?
The quantity.
Quantity to produce. What price should we charge to sell that quantity? Go up to the price line. Where's the price line? Oh, that's the demand curve. Go up that to the price line, the demand curve. That's the price. Am I making a profit?
Yes.
Yes.
How do you know? Because the price is higher than the average total cost. So don't let some of these flat lines disconcert you. Remember your basic principles. Okay? There's your graph. True or false? This is a perfect competitor.
False.
If marginal revenue is constant, it's the demand curve. True, that's a perfect competitor. Okay. Where is point alpha? Does not exist on this graph. Marginal revenue never intersects marginal cost. If this is their maximum output of 100 units on their quantity axis, how many units should they produce and sell?
As many as they want.
As many as they can. If you go all the way out to unit number 100, what's happening? Every unit makes you more than it costs you. Produce at your maximum output. Okay? So we can draw the graphs a little squirrely, but the concepts and the principles are still the same thing. Identify the profit maximizing price and output on that graph. Identify the profit maximizing price and output on that graph. What do you got to do?
Create marginal revenue
You have to create your marginal revenue curve. Where is it?
halfway.
Halfway out the demand curve, kind of like that. Now where's alpha? MR equals MC. That's alpha, that tells you quantity. And to get the price, I read up to the price line. That's all there is to it. Don't let funny looking curves throw you a curve, no pun intended. Pun intended, okay? Just remember the same principles. Look at the graph on the left. Slow me down if you need to. Judging from the graph on the board now, is this a profitable company or not?
No.
We don't know.
I have a no, I have a I don't know, we don't know. What do you think? Is this company profitable or not? Can you tell me where alpha is? That's pretty easy, right? Alpha, quantity, what's next?
The price.
Price. Are they profitable?
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
The average total cost.
There's no average total cost curve up there. If I said this is a profitable company, the answer is false, because you don't know it. If the average total cost curve is up here, what's going on? They're losing their butts. But if it's down here, oh, well, they're making profit. Okay? Get comfortable looking at these graphs. Don't let them knock you off balance. It should go just vertical, not negative. Profitable company or not? If you could read that very well.
So no.
We don't know because there's no average total cost curve. Okay? Where is the average cost curve? This is a squirrely one. When this is horizontal, which maybe goes out to here, where's the average total cost curve?
So
It's the same.
When marginal cost is horizontal
It's at that, it's matching that.
It's the same curve. So this is the average cost curve. And at some place, and it's kind of hard to tell in here, at some place when this curves up, average cost goes above it. When average cost is going up, marginal cost is above it. I'm sorry, it's below it. This is average cost. Somewhere out here. It's below it. When the average cost curve turns up, the marginal cost curve is above it. That's what's going on. So we don't know whether it's going to make a profit or not, because we're not sure exactly where that begins.
And it would be based off of what you're,
It would look like right now, from alpha here, that if the average cost curve continues further out and below it, that we're going to be above it and making a profit. In this market, there's perfect information, true or false?
True.
True? Why?
That's the demand curve.
Because that's the demand curve, and if it's perfectly elastic, it's perfect competition, and in perfect competition, there is, what are the four? Don't look at your notes. Homogeneous goods, large number of small buyers and sellers, perfect information, and
ECXE.
easy entry and exit into and out of the market. Good, good. So just from that one line, you can get those four conclusions. I could make 4 questions out of that. How good is the information in monopolistic competition?
oh, it ranges a difference because they
It is
have different.
very high.
Yeah.
Okay, it's maybe not perfect, maybe perfect, but maybe not perfect, but very, very, very high. They're very well-informed buyers and sellers. How informed are you and I in terms of perfect information when we are consumers?
Depends on your research. There's a lot of information out there if you research.
There's a
it.
bunch of information out there. How much of it do we take in, process, and use?
A little bit.
Not all of it.
Not all of it by any stretch. Okay. Can you give me an example of when you were a more informed consumer?
When it's important to you.
Say again?
When it's important to you, like something that you need or.
Okay. When your demand is more inelastic.
Like high ticket items.
High-ticket items, also a characteristic of an inelastic demand. And so by seeking more information, what are you trying to do to the elasticity of demand? You're trying to make it more elastic. You're trying to discover more substitutes, more alternatives. Sure. Okay.
I got that backwards in my head when you said big ticket items, because some big ticket items, luxury items, are more elastic.
They are all generally more elastic
Yeah.
because they take up a bigger part of your budget. Okay, so
Right.
high dollar items tend to have a very elastic demand.
But for some reason, I thought you just said higher ticket items were inelastic. Did I hear it?
No.
Maybe I just,
No, you
okay,
didn't.
okay.
Maybe I said it wrong, but I didn't
Okay.
mean to. This industry will soon experience an influx of new sellers, true or false?
It's true.
True?
No. Average total cost is above where alpha is. The average total cost is above alpha, so no.
Are they gonna have more sellers coming into the industry?
No.
No.
Where's alpha?
Alpha is marginal revenue.
What does alpha tell
cost.
us?
Quantity.
Quantity. Once we know the quantity we want to sell, what must we do?
Total cost.
Determine the price. In order to determine profitability, what must we do now?
Oh, okay, so there's a profit above the ATC.
We must compare the price to the average total cost and see if the company is profitable. Is this company earning economic profits?
Yes,
Yes. Will there be more sellers in the market?
yes.
Again, we're back to the same, you hear us saying the same things again and again? Just go back and look at it.
I keep shortening my line. I need to extend it up to that demand curve.
That's the biggest problem people have in this, is they forget that once you get to quantity, you don't go back up here and over, you go all the way up to the price line. The most common error I see. Okay, I made up questions. You got any questions? You're all good on all those quizzes?
No.
Okay.
No.
Not good on the quizzes, but it's
Well, I
very
mean, I'm
quiet.
doing it. I'm doing it.
So therefore, we believe prayer is in fact your strategy. Okay.
Question. So for the monopolistic competition, sorry, I can't speak. We're not like paying attention to the ABC, right? Average revenue
Right. In
loss.
monopolistic competition, we figure you already understand about ABC and shutdown, and so we don't discuss it anymore. It's still there.
Okay, are you gonna like ask questions about
Oh,
it?
I
Like,
could.
like we're just supposed to know.
You're
Is that what
supposed to know.
And then if there's not a curve there, and there's a question, then it's
If you can't know it to be true,
right.
it is false. If the average total cost curve is not there and they ask you about profitability, you can't prove it one way or the other, you call it false. Good.
Quiz 4, pretty rough for me. I gave some pretty awful answers.
Okay. You've got a graph there that looks kind of something like this. You've got the regular demand and marginal revenue. You've got an average total cost curve. Just drawing that, does this company have the potential to be profitable?
Yes.
Anywhere the demand curve is higher than the average cost curve is profit, right? So anywhere in this range, the price is higher than the average total cost, right? It all depends on where is the marginal cost curve. But unless it's way the heck out here, this company's going to do just fine, right? Let's draw it right there. Okay. There's alpha. You're doing okay. Now, what kind of questions come out of that you were looking at?
That's I think I was just still sort of, this firm's optimal output is 325.
Well,
So,
where is this firm's optimal output? What does optimal output mean? Alpha profit maximizing. This is their optimal output right here, whatever that number is.
Because I do that.
217.
Oh, some of them asked about like when the firm would be breaking even
Uh-huh.
and stuff. And I thought that was
Good. Look at this point. Let's look at 3 points. Here's price number 1. Here's price number 2. Let me get this nonsense out of the way. Here's price number 3. Can you see those 3 prices pretty clearly? Here, here, and here. Okay? Price 1, are they profitable?
Yes.
Yes. Price 2, are they profitable?
Yes.
Yes, because it's still above the average cost curve. Price 3, are they profitable?
no.
Break even.
Yeah.
They are breaking even because the price from the demand curve and the cost from the cost curve are the same number. The price equals the average total cost. That is by definition break even. What does break even mean?
They're not making profit, but they're not again.
0.
0 economic profit, but
Normal.
a normal
Accounting problem.
accounting profit. Sometimes I feel like we're in a Bible Sunday class and I'm trying to get you to memorize certain prayers, right? Alpha shows you quantity. Got it, got it. Say it again. Yeah. Other comments, other questions?
And the breaking even point, that would be the inelastic.
Depends on where you are.
Okay.
In this particular graph, I know the midpoint is here, so they would break even in the inelastic range. Good question. And that becomes a good way to throw some more questions out there in the sense of, average total cost number one, average total cost number two. What's the difference? Look at the two break-even points, right? Here's a break-even point. We call it alpha 1. No, we don't want to use alpha. We'll call that beta, and we'll call this point gamma, okay? What can you tell me what do they have in common? They're both break-even points. What is different about them?
One is higher than the other?
One is in the elastic side of the map, and one is the.
One, remember, MR is equal 0 here, right? That defines the midpoint. So this one is in the elastic range, this one is in the inelastic range. That's all. And I'm sure if I gave you multiple choice answers, you could filter the right one out of there.
So would that tell us right there in the inelastic range then to bring up the cost? Or the price?
Well, that would tell me that this is going to maximize your profit.
Yeah.
But you could make more revenue by raising the price, but you would make less profit
Oh, okay.
because you would be foregoing profit from underproduction.
Okay.
Phrase rings familiar. Good. I'm not going to mess with you a whole lot on elasticities, but you should keep them in the back of your mind. I'm not going to make you calculate any of them.
So that point in the middle is a unitary,
Yes, anywhere MR is 0, elasticity is unitary.
And we measure from the axis, right?
No.
The
okay, so if I were to look at the alpha, I would go where,
Well, we don't know where alpha is because it depends on, this would be marginal cost or else maybe this would be marginal cost. We need to know where it is.
but I can answer questions about profitability based off that, because I have my ATC curves.
Yes, you can tell whether it's profitable or not profitable.
But if the same graph without the ATC curves, I would be able to see.
It wouldn't say anything about profitability. Anything they say about profitability would be false because you can't prove it. Good.
It's all about understanding the tricks in the question.
That's what I'm trying to get out to you today, just exactly, is reading these things carefully. Okay? What are you going to do for Wednesday?
Just review quizzes and lectures.
What I've done today is make up as many questions as came to mind, okay? I ain't got no more. If you ain't got no more, we ain't got a hell of a lot to talk about. We'll go get a beer, okay? But Wednesday, it would really help if you've got anything at all, any questions at all to bring up, please bring them.
In order to determine the profitability, we just need to know ATC and MR or MC.
You need to do ATC and price or demand. With just those two curves, demand, ATC, what do I know? I know that this point is break even, agree? And I know that anywhere up here, what? Profit, and anywhere down here, loss. What I don't know is, where do I maximize the profit? And to know that, I need to have MR and MC. Then I know how to maximize profit. Good question.
And this is a monopolistic?
You've got to learn to say that smoothly at the cocktail party. Monopolistic competitor, monopolistic competition.
That's what it is. If I have a horizontal line, I have a perfect competition.
Perfectly competitive firm, not industry. The industry has a slope, remember?
So is that an industry right there?
Nope, this is a firm. The only time we talked about the industry with supply and demand was with perfect competition. And then we really focused on the firm with the flat curve. The rest of the course is focused on the firm.
Okay.
One firm at a time, yeah.
So I'm not comparing my business with her business. I'm just,
I'm assuming this is your business.
right.
And I'm assuming that if you're in your industry, all of the businesses look like this.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because it makes it easier. Simpler assumptions. Okay, what else? Again, the exam will extend through next Wednesday. It will open on Thursday. I'll see you here in class on Wednesday, I hope, and if not, good luck. Take care. Bye.